the video quality and everything.
Well, I also had like a cajillion tabs open
Mhm.
in Chrome, so that probably doesn't help.
Certainly not.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I saw.
Yeah,
that-
it's your stick note.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Hey.
Yay! It's been quite a few weeks.
There's all
I
the
haven't seen you
crap
guys in
behind
the
me.
face.
Yep, I see you. I see you now.
All right. Well,
Right.
all technical issues are solved, and without further ado, let's get started. So, welcome back, everyone, to a series of Wonders event. I'm your humble
Yep.
DM, Robin. Joining us today by Stefan, play as our human sorcerer Riveni. Nathan, play as Viking, our Asmar Paladin, and Kat, play as Tali, our Wood Elf Rogue. So, previously, on a series of Wonders event, the team managed to survive a bunch of weird stuff that happened inside of this mansion where Vendenar the wizard took them to shelter because, a dracolich is chasing behind you guys. So, there's not much to discuss. Let's just jump right in. So, you guys have a nice long rest, like after the shenanigans, and you feel energized in the morning. And you can't wait to get the hell out of Dodge, out of this place. So, what would you like to do? You're in the morning. You're staring
During
in
the
room.
night,
Yep.
I would have been contemplating this name that I had heard
Jazz
from
napper. Yep.
Jazz Napper
Mm-hmm.
throughout the night and racking my brain over whether or not I know anything about it. So
All right. Roll me an religion check to see if you know who that is. That name sounds a little
12.
bit familiar. You can't really pinpoint where and when you heard that before, but it's definitely not the first time you heard it. You think it might be that once you were in the Grand Master's chamber, that he was talking to one of his messenger about something happened in the jungle of Choke. That's all you can remember. So, what are everyone else doing over the night besides receiving a nice rest?
In the morning, I pretty much sort of just get up, still looking slightly tired from the ordeal beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as I wake up, I'm pretty much gonna try and sort of wake the other guys up to remind them that we need to talk to Vendenar as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
About what happened.
All right. What about you, Tali?
Tali's kind of anxious. She wants to go to the Seeker's Sanctum, but she knows we need to deal with Vendenar first. She wants to go and see where the hell Archon got to.
Okay. So you guys are on debate on where you guys want to go, I believe. So yeah, just Nine is not gonna say anything because he's not knowing anything at all. He's like, what are you guys talking about? We just had a really nice rest. You guys got kind of frozen in place kind of state. So did something happen?
Would you say we looked petrified, almost like statues?
Yeah, if you would call it that way, sure.
I respond with "Oh, you have no idea," and I just started going into the story of what happened to the three of us and what happened from my perspective and stuff.
Okay. So you described to him like a bunch of Armageddon scenarios you saw, and the weird lady that just presented herself right in front of you and claimed to see different things in time and claim that this would happen if you don't save the world. And Nine looks at you in a wary way. He even reached out his palm like, I'm not sure if this is the right gesture, but I heard people usually check sick person when they are, having something. Is it right? Are you okay?
I sort of try to push away like Nine's arm in like annoyance and reply like I'm not sick or crazy or anything. It actually this freaky dream sequence thing happened to all three of us. It did happen.
He looks around to Nathan and it was like, did you see anything?
I remember it a little differently. I may or may not have burned the Royals' room down with me in it. I just kind of laid there and, and like putting on my boots nonchalantly, like saying...
And you somehow survived it. Okay. That's quite interesting. What about you, Tali? Did you see anything?
I met a seeker from the Sanctum Limit to help. I really my stories are similar to the others, but I met a seeker and Archon, and I want to go see if he's all right. But I know we probably need to deal with Vendenar first.
Okay. He looks kind of confused, but once you said deal with Vendenar, he was like, I think that would be a great
yeah, I heard him.
Yeah.
I heard him making a report last night. Don't know who to. Don't know what language it was in. Does he have masters? Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Who would report to him why I do it in the middle of the night?
Nine looks at you guys in a kind of not knowing way, but he looks around past you guys to Kaz and was like, so, did you see or hear anything during the night? Kaz was like, oh, not at all. The wizard has been kept to himself, so are the prince. Well, both of the prince. There's no sound or movement came out of the chamber. I checked twice myself. Maybe we should
they
just
wouldn't have
go
if
and
they were
ask.
like us.
Maybe. And he kind of opens up the door and said, if that's the case, maybe you guys can lead the way. I have no clue what you guys wish to ask of him, but he seems okay to me.
I mean, I'd like to leave, really. That's the, the bottom line. This place is way too creepy.
Okay. Alright, let's go. He kind of takes the lead and just walks out of the door and directly towards the wizard's place. And you guys kind of walk down the hall just in time to see Vendenar opens up the door and greets you guys and says, morning guys. How's your sleep? I trust you all have a nice long rest. Not that I'm bragging. I sure got the nicest bed in this region. Then he looks at you guys and was like, anything wrong?
Wonderful rest. Some rather tripped out dreams, but wonderful.
Yeah.
And I want to insight check him.
Can we?
Okay. Yeah, you guys sure can roll for insight check. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
Both of you. Oh, okay. With both of your checks, Viking, Viking and Tali, you both think that Vendenar is he's a decent guy. He's definitely not lying or doing anything wrong. He probably just don't know what's happened in here. Ruveni, you see him a little bit too tired for someone who's been rested all night. A little bit like too exhausted kind of way. Like if someone has had a nice long rest, he shouldn't have looked a little bit weary. Yep. But still, he looks sincere. He's not lying. He looks sincere.
I'll sort of start asking I think, hey, you sure you had a good rest, Vendenar? You look a little tired, actually.
He's.
I sort of like a
roll me another insight check, like at this moment.
Yeah, I sort of like narrow my eyes a bit, like sort of looking closer at his face.
Yeah. Roll me another insight to see. All right. You notice the slightest figure of his face kind of changed when you mentioned that he looks a little bit tired, and he struck his head. Is like, probably it's nothing. Probably I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. The squeaky pillows, and sometimes it's the nicest in this region, but it's not as nice as what I had in the council and in the city of Neverwinter. So, just a bit of a lump. I think just doesn't really feel that great, but still, I slept for the night and I'm fine. But what are these weird dreams you guys mentioned about? Care to describe them for me? Because I'm pretty sure I placed down all the spells to prevent anyone to, scrying or cast dreaming spells to, invade my guests, even myself. Common knowledge between wizards.
Well, Tali says that she was like taking a walk outside the room, and she heard you and she says she heard you mumbling something in your room.
No, I'm just doing some research. About how are we supposed to deal with the dracolich and the rising of the dragons and the dracolich. I've been trying all night to search through my collections and even some collections beyond my collections. Just asking a few friends for help. You don't need to re-roll. Okay. All right.
I called it. I'm sorry, because it sounded more like a report to me.
For Tali, you do think that he's talking probably in Draconic? Yeah, because it sounds a lot familiar when you heard the leader, the Green Dragonborn, who was barking order to the cultists, to the wyverns. You think he's probably speaking the same language from what you heard.
I'm not calling him on it. I'm dreading that he was making a report to the cult of the dragon. Oh man.
Anyway.
I'll say maybe we should maybe this is something the four of us should talk about privately.
Talk about what exactly? I mean,
we're all standing here in the doorway. Should we go sit somewhere?
Yeah, sure. And he opens up the doorway and leads you guys to the same room you guys were in, the library. So hold on. All right, he moved all of you, towards the library, and was like, "Have a seat." He waved his palm, and the servant shows up again, Alfred, and you can't see him, but you still feel him there. He's just right there. and the chair just moved automatically itself, as if it was pushed, and be fitted to your like place, and he just waves his hand for you guys to have a seat, and he sits himself directly on the table right over the hall. Okay, so go ahead.
I immediately say to the nearest servant, I want a dozen eggs, a 20 rashers of bacon, and like just basically a platter of food.
Oh, where are my manners? Yes, Alfred,
And
please provide
breakfast
our
ale.
guest. Yeah.
I don't know if
please.
that's a thing.
All right. Nice. You just got a full plate of every kind of possible food you can imagine.
Yep.
Maybe baked potatoes or whatever. It's like, Vendenar just like, yes, Alfred. Just go prepare. What are your orders? And he looks at you, Rivani and Tali. He's like, what about you?
I was kind of
ladies?
ordering enough for everybody.
Yeah,
Like,
and just like coffee, please.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I got some
just
nice
water for me.
tea. Okay. They're from like regions beyond east or whatever. Anyway. Yes, sure, Alfred. Go. And yeah, you see the doors like opens and then closed, with no one in and out. But you feel the presence of Alfred leaving. Yep. And like Vendenar just sits on the table and like to say to you guys, well, during the time of waiting, maybe one of you can describe your dream. Sounds like, did you guys have all the same dreams, or is it all different?
So I
Interconnected.
Sort of the same.
it started kind of the same for all of us. We were three of us together with Kaz, and like Tali, like when Tali first came back, she mentioned something about like a miniature statue thing, and then we went to go find it with her, but it wasn't there. And then people started disappearing one by one, and then they sort of just started like sort of explaining everything that happened to me specifically.
Okay.
With all the
yeah. So
all the end time stuff, and
yeah, the end of the time and everything. When the moment you mentioned the Watcher, Vendenar's face kind of changed drastically. He's like, "Wait, what did you say? The Watcher?"
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what the Watcher is?
Yeah, they. This is not good. This is not good. I'll describe later who she is and what they are. In the meantime, did the rest of you happen to come across any members who claim themselves to be the Seeker?
I saw someone who looked rather like oh goodness, he looked like he was from the Seeker's Sanctum, and the windows, but I couldn't. They were petrified. It was so strange, and I'm covering it, but I'm not saying I woke him up. I'm not saying I talked to him. I'm just like, I saw a thing. It was weird. I left.
Petrified.
I got stuck in a room, like locked in a room full of books, Seeker books, by the looks of them. And your bed started to bleed, and so I just burnt down the room. Just
okay. But last time I checked, believe me, I got enough. We delve in to check. There's no room burning currently. Well, or before. This is really weird. All right. full disclosure.
What made you ask after the teachers?
All right.
Why did you expect them to be there?
Full disclosure. I didn't build this entire place. I came across it when it's left abandoned in the ethereal plane. That is where we are currently at. This is merely some would say a reflection of what the reality is, because the real Seeker Sanctum are A, they're in Green East, and B, they are kind of destroyed. So the whole Seeker organization was long destroyed about a few hundred years ago. Yeah, awkward silence, and then he continues saying, the reason why I mentioned about the Seekers is because they are they supposed to be the one who search for truth, search for hidden lores, and I'm not sure if they're like in-depth search for knowledge kind of pissed some deity off, or maybe all of them. They kind of, all the orders, besides either good deities or like the worst, either good or like evil alignments, they kind of join together and destroy them, wipe them out of the map. And the one that's left in the tails are this Seeker Archon guy. And legend has it he's the one that's fight until the end. And the reason why I brought this up is because when I came across this place, it's supposed to be where he hide his most valuable, powerful stuff that makes the deities want to fight over for it. And if you guys could trigger that, which means you guys did you guys ever came across an orb that looks like invisible to some, but to some
I'm gonna fish it out of my coat.
yeah. And he's like, exactly what I'm talking about. And he tries to reach for the orb. And
I juggle.
Oh, okay. May I? Okay.
Only if I can have it back.
Certainly. Besides, the
All right.
orb is kind of rendered useless without the staff. So, and he gently lifts the orb. He kind of not lifted by himself, but by a mage hand that appeared out of thin air, and just gently grabs it and floats in midair. He kind of moves it around in the room, and you see when he passed through one of the table over here. Sorry, did you guys see it? One of the table over here. The area kind of glows in a ginger kind of light, kind of a small reddish light that's hidden behind the desk. It's like interesting, and he moves forward to check on the mark. It's a like a small marking that inscribed in a kind of a weird language, but it looks similar to the ruins you guys found when you were in the Wizard's Tower long ago, and facing Vendenar for the first time, and in the underground, Underdark. So when the time you face the Lucian, you rescued him. But anyway, so it looks like an M and a W, like some sort of initial. And he's like, Vendenar just sighs and like, well, I will not lie. The main reason any wizard would came to this place to search is because they want to know. They want to know more. What the gods are so afraid of. So, what are the exact power the seekers hold over them that makes them so scared they need to wipe them out? But like I said, this legend has it the staff needs to be combined with the orb in order to reveal the truth, the one truth of the universe they seek. So, sadly, it's not going to be enough. And he passed the Orb of Defiance back to you. So, now that that came across my mind, you guys wouldn't happen to have a staff that looks like black and like the top of it has an obsidian kind of set that it looks like it could fit with this orb?
I don't think we've ever seen that staff before, no.
Okay.
Not from what I remember.
Anyway,
Did we see a
No,
staff?
put a bunch of gems, but let's go.
Yeah. So, and just in time, Alfred came back with. You see a gigantic plate of food just floats into the door and just gently plays it down in the desk and is like, "Oh, we can talk over breakfast. Yeah, it's totally fine." And Vendenar just goes over and grab his own, like, kind of, you think it's water, but it looks like blue, like darker blue for some reason. And he just gently sip it and then, like, enjoy his bread and, like, bacon and everything. And he continues, after he finish, like, small bites, he continues saying, back to what I was doing. Like I said, I was researching for how to, defeat dracolich and like stop the uprising of the dragons, as well as the undead. Sadly, I didn't find anything on the undead part because, well, most of Merkel's worshippers were destroyed. So there's no need to leave any kind of important notes behind, including how to defeat him in the first place, because he was already defeated. However, I did find something that could be used to stop the Queen of Dragons and her minions. So, like we talked about before, the prince, they have the orb of the Dragonkin. And the orb of Dragonkin can have a hold over the dragon. But it can also amplify the curse that's been bestowed on the dragons. The Dracobane curse. If we somehow manage to get them into the center place where it can release the most of its power, we have the potential to invoke the Dracobane curse again, even before its due time to be unleashed. And in that case, it should be able to hold the dragons long enough, chromatic dragons long enough underground, for anyone else to slay them or like banish them. But well, according to like records, it needs to be placed in some place that has the most this is the part where I'm confused, most temporal disturbance. Meaning the weakling of the space, the weak spot of a space. So, yeah. That's just pretty much it.
I might have a spot that suits. I look to 9. I believe we've run across a portal. That's definitely a temporal garbage point.
Okay. 9 nods and looks at the wizard just intensely. He's gonna do this. He's certainly gonna do this. 9. He just nods and looks at the wizard intensely. Basically. Let's see. Nope. Okay. The wizard looked at you and says, "So you also came
Would that
across
work?
this place?"
I end up in weird places. It's like, it's a habit. It's a bad habit. But would that work?
She's not wrong.
Maybe. Maybe. He thinks very intensely. Like normal, like mundane portals. Well, not mundane portals. Like they have their. You can call it spec. They have their like detailed location on where and when they will appear. Like when a wizard casts a spell, the portals they have a destined location. But a temporal disturbance should be like a center point of all just space. Like that's why they are the weak spot, because if we break through them, that means we punch a hole through the space, and making planetary travel possible, which in some place they call it plane walking. Someone who can achieve these feat are called planeswalkers, and maybe that'll work. Mind if you describe this place you guys encountered for me?
I mean, it was the basement of a tower. Like, I'm being vague about where the exact details are, but I described the room of it and the weirdness of the portal.
All right. So you described.
I'm no magic user.
Yeah, you describe the full details of the portal, and he looks kind of weighing his options.
Regardless, I'd love to know what it was.
Yeah. I think that'll work. I'm not the master of this, but I have some records shows that describe similar to this spot might have worked, and I mean, we should call the prince, both of them, to see if they are healthy enough to travel with us, or maybe we can carry the orb of Dracolich to there.
Regardless, they deserve to know what's going on.
Sure. Alfred, would you be a nice fella and fetch the kings for me? The prince. Sorry.
I pretty much sort of shoot my hand up in the air, so saying I call holding you orb.
Okay. Alfred just ignores you and goes through the door and just okay. For Vendenar is
my eyes are sort of sparkling at the chest to hold an actual relic like the orb of dragon.
Okay. For the rest of you, you stayed and you eat. What are you doing currently, Viking?
Filling my face.
Just
food
eating,
showed up, I'm like,
chiming down. All right.
Because I know that this is nice food and everything, and we're probably gonna end up leaving here pretty quick. So I fill my belly before, the soldier
battle
mentality is feed your belly and start marching.
Nice. All right. So as Viking is working his way through the breakfast, Tali, are you staying? Continue to talk to the wizard, or are you leaving?
If anyone else leaves, I'll go with them. I wouldn't leave the group.
Yeah, no, I'm keeping eyes on the wizard. I'm just
Okay. Okay,
Keeping the
so
party together.
yeah, so basically, Rivani just walks herself with the Alfred, with the unseen servant, and you walk past through the greeting hall where you guys like enter in the first place. You found the prince, like both of them, standing at the hall, kind of talking to each other in a language you don't think you understand. It involves a lot of kind of that sound. It's kind of weird, kind of primitive. Do you speak primordial? Just wondering.
Definitely not.
All right. So there are a bunch of gibberish. They're definitely talking gibberish. So you have no clue what they're talking about. They notice your presence, but they continue talking to each other for about 5 more minutes until they finally reach to. You think they're in a debate. You don't even need to know the language to see the tension between them. But all debates has to come to an end, and it appears they reach to a decision. So they kind of just stopped, and the prince turn around and look at you, Waylon, the water genocide prince. He looks at you and says, "It appears we reached to a conclusion. So we won't be bringing the orb of Dracolich with you. It's too valuable to entrust anyone with it. As a matter of fact, the number we employed never really did us any good. So we probably will go on the journey by ourselves. Give Vendenar my regards." And like he just waved to Zargon, and he's like, "We shall we?" And Zargon's nod, and it appears they are ready to leave at this moment.
No, okay then, Your Majesty. I understand. I sort of say, looking visibly disappointed.
Okay.
But I sort of add like a, well, I hope you take care though. Don't hesitate to try and reach out to any of us if you end up needing some help or anything. Or
I think we'll be fine. Besides, it's not like we will go anywhere. We're heading for Neverwinter, in fact. And I trust Lord Neverember would have a way to deal with all these kind of trouble. From what we heard, he's quite an enlightened lord of, well, this region. So, yeah, and they start walking out of the door. Tali, you notice that Vendenar, after you have a few exchange of information and everything, Vendenar suddenly stood up from his chair. He was like, "They are what? That is
Everything all right?
ridiculous!" And he storms out of the room, just walks out of the room.
I'm on him.
Okay, so Viking, are you following them or?
I'm gonna follow, but I have like a fistful of bacon.
Yeah,
Like a
just
tray.
still chewing down the bacons. Kaz and Nine are gonna stay. Kaz is, in fact, he's looking through some of the collection. Before you guys leave, you see Kaz is like reaching out for one heavy, loaded book. Monk tradition, like monkistic tradition, and basically some details about some technique called Way of the Open Palm. But yeah, he's just like reading through all the stuff and didn't really notice that you guys are left. And you guys follow Vendenar all the way to the front door, and Vendenar is like, "What is the meaning of this?" and reach out to grab Waylon, the prince, by the shoulder. "Your Highness."
whoa,
Yeah.
Whoa.
where do you think you're going? And Waylon just looks at you and says, with kind of a distrust in his eyes, he says, a lot of stuff happened. We think that numbers are not the safest option we should consider. In fact, the increasing in number only increased the chance of us being attacked by the dragons. So, we trust it would be best to leave by ourselves. Vendenar just if you see kind of veins pop up his front head, that's like some old man just about to lose it.
I'll try to put my hand on Vendenar's shoulder, saying like, "Whoa, easy there. Take it easy there. If they want to go by themselves, we can't really just force them, like, can we?"
The worst thing is, they don't have a plan. So, let's just hypothetically, if you brought the orb of Dracokin to Lord Ember, what do you expect him to do with that exactly? And Zargon kind of shrugs and says, I heard he got lots of wizards in his employment. Vendenar just I'm that fucking wizard. Alright? Lady Lexa and I are the leading arcanist who has the knowledge to know how to deal with it. Or have you forgotten, Your Highness? Zargon just well, it's not like the AL Leaguers did any kind of help. They kind of get themselves massacred, and quite frankly, my personal guard as well. I don't think they are the right fit.
Tell you what. Why don't the princelings here stay for breakfast? We share the information that we've uncovered just in case they would like to actually use it, and then they are free to go on their way to make their own decisions about the orb, but then they have the information that Vendenar here actually has on maybe how to defeat it. And then if either of you ever need backup, you call us, yeah?
Zargon looks at Waylon, and they exchange a few... yeah, just like that. And eventually they kind of... You think Zargon kind of persuaded him in some way? Because Waylon looks not happy. But eventually Zargon just turns around to you and says, we will stay for the breakfast, but I'll have to warn you, if we don't like what we heard, we will leave by ourselves.
Of course. To be quite honest, we're going to be hot on your heels, so...
Vendenar just... I was like...
Vendenar, dear, you're making the worst case for yourself ever.
Royalties.
Go cool off.
Yeah. Yeah, so you guys all walk back into the chamber. Vendenar just sits himself heavily into the main chair, Alright, would you mind, sorry, Tali, is it? Sorry.
Tali, of course.
Yeah, would you mind sharing the information with them? I'm having a bit headache. You just see him, sigh and looks to the other side, just
Go, rest. We'll be fine here.
Okay, so you share the information with the prince. They kind of pause for a second. That the solution seems way too easy for their taste.
Exactly, and I agree with them. I'm like, I don't know how far to trust Vendenar, but it's more information than we had before.
Okay. Trust.
I take it you both had the same kind of night that we did.
What night you guys are talking about?
Uh,
We got ourselves some rest. Uh, that's about it.
Strange dreams. Apparently, this used to be a seeker's sanctum, I guess. Kind of adrift in space-time. It's curious and has many magical oddities about it, I suppose.
Okay. Not that I really concerned of any of this, but oh, okay. Yeah, Vendenar is like looking to he nods at you, Ravani, and like kind of enjoy the service of Bright Eyes. Bright Eyes like grabbing by the side is like, yeah, yeah, just a little bit left. Yes, please, thank you. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, so the prince kind of thinks for themselves and nod to each other, and it's like, well,
I also
all right. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I also sort of chime in, like sort of mentioning like how we were able to escape the whole dream thing with the two bells linking our sides of the dream together, and I show mine to them as well.
The Eye of Primordials, and he like Zargon immediately grabs it and looks at it intensely, like this is amazing. I never imagined to find something like this inside here. The crafting skills are lost through generations of passing down, and like the mislinks, the correct process of crafting this is gone. Where did you find this again?
We found them in our like in each of our parts of wherever it was in the dream we got transported to. I found I found the one I have in the in the in the bad future time thing place, and
He kind of
I
raises
guess
his hand and just kind of stops you right there, and it's like, okay, so you found it. It's not from anywhere else but here. Well, through the weird space, the weird time you were talking about. All right.
well, like we kind of found them during the weird time we were talking about. I sort of mentioned like the old woman I met, and like how she told me to find the link to as the clue to get out of here, and that's I assume the bells were what the link that she was talking about and stuff like that.
Definitely. The Eye of Primordials, they are, well, every time these artifact shows up, they always comes in pairs. So, four primordials are eternal, so their gaze upon, well, material realm are eternal. Sadly, I can't seem to break the bond because you guys already established a bond to it. It's all yours. He placed that back to your palm, sadly. Like, if only I could brought this back. Well, there's no mourning for the loss anyway. It's all yours. I think we should
take it.
Okay. Yeah, you take it.
I take it and I ask for like I have primordials. So does that mean these were made by primordials or?
No, the names are just metaphorically speaking for their internal gaze among each other. So whoever has the bell can share the sight with each other. see directly through space and time, no matter where they are. As long as they have them and stay attuned to them, which appears you both achieved that. So,
It's a good thing we did. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have gone out of the dream in time.
true.
I almost got flattened by a dracolich in the bad apocalypse time.
Okay. Dracolich. Anyway, I guess we'll go with you. But we are safekeeping the orb.
One, marvelous news. Two, of course, I wouldn't expect to take it from you.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Go
I
ahead.
sort of say, yeah, I wouldn't, yeah, we certainly wouldn't dream of taking it from you, even though I'm still disappointed. I'm not gonna get to hold it.
Both of them are gonna make sure.
I love how it's not the rogue that's wanting to steal something.
Yeah.
All right.
So I've been silent this entire time,
Yeah.
just like in slight meat coma after eating so much. And I'm like, yeah, you guys can come with us, but we have to make something for.
No. We allowed you to come with us.
Unless you start paying us, then we don't take orders from you.
Nonsense. We are the royalties. Our say are the rules. So, if we say we allow you to follow, you'll follow. Simple as that.
I literally take my plate and like, fuck it, let's leave. And I throw it. I'm like, we're done here.
Vendenar just,
and I get up.
Vendenar just like, Viking, I'm really sorry for that, but let me talk to them. I know they are a bunch of assholes, but we need their help currently. To be precise, we need the artifact. So, if anything happened to them, if the dracolich get to them first, you know the consequence. So, let me do the talking. And Vendenar just walked to the prince and just gently lead them to the side and talk to them through heavy conversation, just like
I'm listening.
yeah, because of this and that. They're speaking in common. The princes are not speaking in primordials. So Vendenar basically describes how the world will end and how that will affect Gensha if the world ends. And through the conversation, you learn about a few things if you're paying attention. First, Gensha seems to be a place that's out over the sea. It's not anchored to this realm entirely. It's half anchored, but they need the anchor to stay in this realm, so they can like gather enough food, enough supplies, so they won't starve. And yeah, if the anchor is gone, if it's destroyed, then the entire kingdom is gonna perish. That is why they send out the Zargon and Wayland to help, because they also need exchange of goods and everything from Lord Neverember. That is why Wayland insists on going to Neverwinter in the first place.
But what I'm trying to get at is they're the ones that are concerned about stopping the world ending. As far as me and my companions are concerned, I'm looking,
Yeah.
These guys here are not taking any instruction from us.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as I'm concerned, the first time we encounter anything bad, they could either run in or cause more problems than it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
So, unless we're getting paid to do this, it's not worth our time.
Mm-hmm.
We may as well just walk away.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you're talking to your team about this, about your theory, about we should
and
get
I'm
paid.
very
Yeah.
blunt about it.
Yeah.
I-
So
The world ending, it sounds like it happens quite often. One psychopath after another. Got to remember my backstory, right?
yeah.
So
True. So Viking is talking to you guys about he doesn't really care unless he gets paid.
I sort of try to counter that with, well, life and trying to save the world is worth any decent person's time. Isn't that right, Tali?
True, but we also have running costs to consider.
Nice.
We need weapons, we need armor. We are going up against something insane, right? And quite frankly, we don't have the funds. We don't. And
we might need a small army in order to accomplish this in the end. So I need to make sure that we're looking out, for the everybody's welfare, because I get the feeling if the pretty boys, and I actually say pretty boys louder than anything else, are get an opportunity, they're going to disappear faster than anything else. Either be captured, and I say captured loud again, or cowardice, and I say that one as like I'm punctuating those words.
I know.
As they're talking amongst themselves.
Waylon doesn't seem to take notice. Zargon, on the other hand, does notice that and just stares intensely at you when they're still having the conversation.
I get annoyed at Viking and sort of rebut with like, well, maybe they'd be less likely to do that if we actually treat them like decent human beings. Don't you think?
No.
What do you mean, no?
Vendenar
they're
just
royalty. They're a different breed.
Yeah.
You need to be forceful with royals. Like they don't think like you and I do. They have this entitlement mentality, and I guarantee you, if they will step on your fallen body in order to escape. That's just how royals operate. They are cowards, and I say that again, punctuate. When it comes to getting their hands dirty.
Zargon reached to his sword, his rapier, and it's like, I'll show you what coward. And Vendenar just he just gently touched Zargon's body, like shoulder, but you see Zargon's actions frozen in place.
I see him, and it's mysterious. A fucking piece of bacon comes out of nowhere, and I'm like, eye contact, dead center, and just start eating the bacon, watching him, just like.
Yeah, he's frozen in place. You can see from his expression, he's trying really hard to counter that. He can't. He's like, Vendenar, let me go. Vendenar is like, unless both of you stop acting like children. And when I say both of you, I mean both of you. And he looks at Waylon and Zargon. Royalties or not, they are the same person who live and breathe on this land. They deserve something other than your attitude. Now,
I say,
please?
I'll back up Vendenar with yeah, Viking. And sort of cross my arms against my chest, giving him the disappointed mother look.
Yeah, Vendenar nods at Rivani when he's saying that, and he continues saying, on the other hand, he looks at you, Viking, and says, sure, no one does anything without getting a few rewards. However, we are talking about the end of this world as we know it. What would you do with the money if there's no place to spend it?
I'm sure I can figure. I have my ways in order to spend money. A bathhouse, some alone time, some nice ale. The pleasures of the flesh.
What if I told you
And
all of that?
And the others
is gonna
know
be
about
gone?
my bathing rituals, but
Yeah. What if I told you the dracolich rises, and if Tiamat ever rises to this place, all the stuff, all the luxury you're gonna enjoy are about to be gone. This is a world-ending incident we're talking about.
if that's the case, that means the price just went up. I look back at Tali. I'm like, is that not how this works? The more dangerous, we could die. I have heirs that I need to worry about.
And I have family.
Exactly. Like, we need to make sure that we're covered here.
Because we need better equipment. Like, if you were saying this is world ending, I somehow think we need better protection against, like, we almost got destroyed by a singular dracolich. You get that right?
And this is like the diplomat in me. I'm like, okay, we can make some compromises here. Money doesn't actually need to exchange hands, but that fancy airship you guys were flying in would be very nice to add for transportation. I'm sure we're going to have to use another one in order to, travel you, get you around. But, at the end of this, maybe we get to keep it. Just saying, like.
Roll for persuasion, and you have advantage because Tali is helping you, and both of you are making a valid point.
Oh,
nice! Thank God for the persuasion, for the advantage. Yeah. So Vendenar just thinks for a moment, and he nods, says, "You made a excellent point, and I think the prince," and he looks at both of them. With a stare that looks, quite frankly, frightening. Like, if someone could stare someone to death, it's that kind of stare, and just look at them as like, I'm sure the prince, the entire Gensha will be happy to provide that for you. Isn't that right? And roll all of you roll me a perception check to see if you notice. Alright. Tali, actually every one of you noticed there's a slight shaking on Wayland's hand. He's not frozen. Zargon is the one who's got frozen, but you think that whatever that stare is kind of chilled him to the bones. He just nods rapidly and is like, sure, the brave ones will be compensated for their service. Vendenar just nods satisfied, and looks back at you and says, and I personally will compensate you for an exchange of 1,000 gold pieces. And, well, if we ever encounter any sort of treasure, they will all be yours. However, I would employ you to, if you ever came across the staff, the one I was talking about, the staff of rebellion, that goes along with the orb, mind if I have them for a few days just to inspect them? You guys are more than welcome to, stay overwatch on me to make sure I don't take it away. But Forever Wizard, it's always been kind of a lore we try to seek. So if you ever came across that,
powerful items like that, of course, I understand that you'd be interested in the power, but it would be foolish of
not the power itself.
No. To study the power, but it would be foolish of us to bring both items into one place. I'm sure studying them independently would be fine, but not together.
All right, maybe. But still, if you ever came up, like, if you ever come across them, maybe just you can bring them separately together. I don't really care. I just want to know the knowledge behind it. What makes the deities so afraid? So afraid that they have to wipe out the entire Seekers. That's what we need.
That's like a fair deal.
Yeah, so that's a deal. Actually, I'll pay you guys up front. And he reach into his pouch and like place 500 gold piece on the table, and it's like, it's all yours.
Tali's just like,
I walk over and I hold my hand out to shake the royalty's hands.
Zargon can't move. His palm is still frozen in the rapier.
Knowing that, though. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So you walk towards Waylon, basically.
Yeah.
You shake his hand. You feel his hand a little bit shimmering and shaken still when you're shaking. It's like, fine. And he just like pull his hand back. It's like,
when he says that, I'm like, let the gods old and new, good and evil, witness our
union
bargain here, our bargain here, and strike us down if either one fails on their part. And I let go of his hand. And that being said, my hand is covered in bacon grease, so
yeah, that's part of the reason why it took his palm off of yours. It's like,
yeah, but I was like grabbing on hard just to make sure.
Yeah. Disgusting peasants, and you heard him
I'm just
saying that.
I'm gonna walk up behind him and just pass him a handkerchief and go, look, I apologize for my companion, but thank you. I'll prove him wrong. Change his mind.
You don't know how tempted I am to wipe my hand on the guy that's frozen.
Yeah,
just like, sorry.
I'm just standing there, just like my brain, like eyes are just like, that's enough before we die here.
Yeah. So, you see Vendenar just like release his hand, and then you see Zargon just like, and he put his rapier back, just like, and it's like, let's just go.
I intentionally got very close to his rapier as well, knowing he was frozen, and I just nonchalantly didn't care.
Alright.
I'll say we don't let you down, Mr. Vendenar, as I first start taking my third of the 500 gold.
Okay.
I put the 500 gold in the bag of holding.
Okay. Just party fun.
Yeah.
Alright.
That way, if anybody needs anything big, anybody can take it out of the bag of holding.
Yeah.
Party funds.
Yeah, party funds.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's okay.
500 gold piece into the treasury,
We're 1,107 gold pieces.
Nice.
Party funds.
And there's still 500 more once you complete the task. And
if we don't all die.
Yeah, hope you don't die. All right. So, you guys, since you guys finish your breakfast, pocket all of that into your belongings. Oh, right. Write down the Eye of Primordials in your treasury now that you have that. So basically the items, wherever you are, you can see each other through the Eye of Primordials, and about 30 feet around the person that's holding it. Yeah.
Is that bound to anybody in the group, or just Ravani and myself?
It's like attuned to. It requires attunement. So basically, Viking, you and Ravani both attuned to it. You can always release the bond, the attunement, to give it to someone else. Yeah. And you can see through and hear other people talk back. So imagine that like a fantasy ground microphone and camera. Yeah, Fantasyland. Yeah. So anyway,
Go pro.
since you guys are ready,
And here,
and here,
and here, and here.
and here.
Okay. So as we're getting ready to leave, I like come over here and I slowly open the door and I'm like, goodbye, my fair sweet. And I'm like, you look at it and I'm like looking at the bathtub and the cask of wine that's probably been tipped over still. And I will be back. And like, I graciously like start walking away, not looking back.
All right. You'll always remember the time you spent with your rubber ducky. Yeah.
You were my best.
All right. So as you guys get prepared, Vendenar also gets prepared. You see, like he like reach out into one of his like components inside his pouch, and he sprinkles them in midair, like just like, and with a splash in front of your eyes, you see right in the front door the phantom seed you guys came when you guys ride along on them, just miraculously appeared right in front of you. And he says, this will provide a slight better traveling experience than flying. And quite frankly,
something for later. Sorry.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I'm just
I don't know if you can wheel that in somewhere or somehow.
Don't worry. I saw that. It's fine. Yeah. And I will prepare for that. Anyway, as you guys finish your conversation and anything, you guys ride on the back of the horse. And Vendenar, this time, he kind of like, if we want to return to Neverwinter faster, the fastest way to that is to bind our steed to the link. And since this place is the reflection of Seeker Sanctum, this might work. You know what? If you would be so kind to pass me the orb. And he looks at you, Tali.
I'm gonna, like, really reluctantly pass it over.
Okay. He said, don't worry, you'll get it back immediately. And I just need... And he click with his staff onto the orb. Both of them hum, and the orb, to the rest of the team, they can't really see the orb. The orb suddenly, kind of gradually appears right in front of them. So before you don't see anything, you see Vendenar just grabs something invisible from Tali, and then the orb gently showed its face, and then released like a kind of a purplish energy and strikes forward into the void in front of you guys, and then the ribbons of energy kind of arcs in midair, forming like a gentle kind of purplish portal right in front of you guys. The sparking of energy is still like a little bit unstable, and you see the lines reach out from the portal, linking to all of your horses. And Vendenar says, now let's ride. And he charged in the front. And he also lifted the orb in midair. Like, you'll get it back when we reach to the other side. Yeah. And
am I riding one of his horses or Snickerdoodle?
Yeah. Did you conjure familiar yet? Did you find
Well,
familiar
he just... I don't need to. Like, I think he just kind of wanders, and if I lose him, I can recast it.
Okay.
So how that works. So if he was just kind of wandering around out where we were... No.
Because he never really fly with you. You guys...
No, we flew here, so he would have been... Yeah.
He would have
been. Don't worry about
it. Yeah.
He's dead to me.
All right. So you forgo the find familiar option. You just ride with whatever lowly phantom steed that's been provided for you, and you all ride. You see for the first time. Normally, when you travel through portals, it's like instantaneous. You don't feel a thing. You don't see anything within. But this time, the experience is different. You see, like a path kind of formed right beneath the phantom steed. The blue, like purplish ribbon of energy kind of forms underneath the steed's like hoof, and all of them combine with each other to form a path leading all the way with Vendenar in front, all the way to the other end. You see, you reach out through the void. You see a lot of like debris, maybe from housing. You even see kind of a weird metallic creatures with cogwheels and everything around them. In the far end of the sky, you see one fraction. You were riding so fast, you see one fraction of the windows, kind of like a plane that's been engulfed in flame while it's already underneath water, and it just keeps on burning and against each other. So you also see from the very far end a creature where you can't describe, like have maybe numerous tentacles and no eyes and sharp shark-like teeth, just like growls in front of you. Vendenar just like, stay close to me. Do not watch them in the eye. And when he mentioned the eye, you notice that, yeah, they got no eyes at all. You don't know it's because the window is too small for you to see, or if it's beyond your sight. But anyway, you guys ride, like there's no wind, but you guys think you ride so fast because the ribbon expands itself fast, like things you can't really describe, because there's no relative space and time to feel. But you think you're riding really fast until eventually Vendenar leads you guys to the other end. You can see a portal, the same purplish energy kind of arcs on the other end, and he says, follow me, and he charged through the portal. Yeah, all of you, your steed also follows him directly through the portal and reach to the other side. And the orb kind of dies. The purplish energy on the orb kind of dies down when you guys all travel through the portal. And Vendenar just, the steed just stays in one place as Vendenar leaps off the horse and like gently hands you back the orb, and it's like, whew.
Yeah, I'm gonna dismount and remove it.
Yeah. Yeah. Whew.
Tali's like breathing hard. She's like trying to suppress a panic attack. She's like, that wasn't normal. That was weird.
Yeah.
That was horrifying.
We kind of travel through the link of the reflection to all the way to the reality, to the physical binding place. That is why it requires some kind of alteration. Vendenar just kind of laughs to himself. It's like,
I'm just patting him on the shoulder and then just sitting down in a heap, just like, oh god,
yeah.
and just looking around like, where the hell did we spit out?
Yeah, so you found yourself looking at similar place. You are still, if it weren't for the traveling experience, you might think yourself still at the Seeker's Sanctum. You might think yourself still at Vendenar's place when he found them. But you notice that a few differences. First, you can see through the surroundings. The outer skirt of this mansion is not a void. It is green grass, and you can see from afar. You guys are at here currently. You guys are at here currently. Can you see the arrow?
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys are there, and you can see
I'm not
from
seeing it.
afar. Yeah. Sorry. Let me just point it out here.
I think it's shift click or something. Or
Yeah,
sorry,
it's here.
alt click changes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there. Okay.
Yeah, I'm shifting because I'm shifting
Yep.
through like images and different browsers. So sorry about that. Anyway, you guys reach Greenest as what you can see right now, and it turns out it doesn't look like at all it's been destroyed or anything. It looks rather well comfy, you would say. It
I'm
doesn't
gonna knock
look
on the door.
much different than you guys left.
Yeah.
The time you guys left.
I'm gonna stand up and knock on the door.
Knock on the door on where? Which one?
The sanctum.
Oh, the sanctum. You
Yeah.
notice that directly through the sanctum, you don't see anything. Like within the sanctum you guys were in, where the reflection, there's like fine adjustments. Like the house has been set to be clean and everything seems to be in place. But right now, the sanctum you guys are looking at are half destroyed. From what you heard, there's no comparison to the site you are actually seeing than the story. The story just seems like, oh, it's been destroyed, but it never really described how detailed it was destroyed. You see right in front of you, the roof is all gone. Part of the walls are fractured, broken. You can even see like claw marks and broken, like maybe some sharp bite or teeth, because it doesn't look like a human fist or anything, or human weapon can do that. And beyond that, all the grounds have been lifted. So it's been like it's like someone has been farming the ground and lift all the dirt to the other side. The place is all like, you can even see the basement from top. From the top, you can see part of the basement that's been broken and entirely broken. You see barrels broken down inside the basement, and yeah, that's about it.
I
It is
sort of
an
leave aside.
abandoned house.
I sort of leave aside to Vendenar sort of ask, like how long has the sanctum been all falling apart like this?
Like I said, a few hundred years ago. Like, it is said that Seeker Archon fought to his last breath in this very ground. Right where we're standing, in the courtyard. He faced down the strikes from deities of the above, and well, legend has it he lasts for a few rounds before they eventually took him out. Stories. I wouldn't bother so much, but
It makes
Sounds like it was a
makes
bit
no
of a badass back in the day.
they we were asked to help with an undead problem here. Why ask for help if there's no one living here?
ask for help.
Yeah.
I have no clue. Undead's ravel this place? I mean, it doesn't look like it's undead.
No, and that's why I'm really something is wrong. Something is messing with things.
What do you mean, Tali?
Yeah, what do you mean?
We were talking with I think it was with Kaz and his group. We were gonna split up. They were gonna deal with the tower problem, and we were gonna come here and deal with the undead.
Kaz look at you, like saying, yes, but we received the message. That's why I also think it's weird.
But who called us?
Well, someone named Maria called me. Like, she claimed herself to be some kind of a messenger. She traveled in during the night. Well, I still remember she got this weird eye-looking chest plate. Like there's a
Yeah,
gigantic-
Maria,
Okay.
you saw her.
Yeah. You know who she is? Remember, you never really described the details of which person you
Oh, wait.
saw. Yeah.
Did it, and now I am.
Okay. So you eventually, I would say, reluctantly spill out the one you just saw, and Kaz is like, "How is that possible? That is not possible. I think, I don't know. What do you think, Wizard?" And Vendenar just looks at Kaz and is like, "Well, there are two plausible explanation about this. First, she's not the lady you saw in your dream or your vision. She's completely someone else, just randomly someone else who also named Maria, who also bears the Seeker's, well, symbol. Or B, she is exactly the person you saw before. And I think I know why she can appear. She might be the last of the Seeker. She might be the one who bears the symbol of the Seeker, and thus she might also have the ability to planeswalk, travel through different time and place." So when you receive the message, maybe to her, the sanctum is still alive. The sanctum is still intact. Maybe that's why she wants you to investigate. Mind rapping! Yeah, just like...
Yeah, Tali's like losing it because she's like, do we have time to do that? Because we have world-ending drama. Is one sanctum like...
Well, Vendenar just looks at all of you and says, it looks like there's no helping with this place. I would suggest we go to the town square and, see this temporal disturbance you were talking about. Maybe
I'd also like to report in with the guard and clear our names and like, hey, look, we've got Kaz back.
Yeah. I will definitely do that.
Maybe we should do that first. Yeah.
Yeah. So the guards won't mistake me for being kidnapped, and
I'd
you
like
guys
to
won't
not
be
be a
arrested.
fugitive. Yeah.
Oh right, and I need
Yeah, that
to
sounds
revert
good.
back. And he kind of reach into his pouch and grabs a scale and just pass on himself. And in front of all of you, he just turns like golden scale again into a like gold dragonborn. Like, all right. Well, that's the form they know me of, so that would be weird if a blue dragonborn just shows up and says it's Kaz. Anyway,
Right.
Let's go to the town square first.
I kind of lean over to Tali as we're walking, and I'm like, I wonder if those perverted skeleton dude knows anything about.
Are still.
I'm guessing they've been around here
They
for a
have.
while.
They have.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
we should ask.
So.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, okay, you probably don't want to be with me when I have to go ask him because he's gonna ask you to like do something unsavory.
And I can't understand what he says anyway. To me, he's just like, that's it. That's it's terrifying.
All you know is he's hitting on you.
Oh yeah, that's kind of unmistakable in any language. Damn it.
Yeah.
Can I go back and fight the dracolich? I'd kind of rather that.
Oh, nice. Anyway, as you guys are talking, having conversation, realizing what might happen, You look around. What are your passive perceptions, everyone? Let me check.
18.
18. All right.
Wait.
What about
10
you?
with advantage, I think.
Okay.
That's not a thing.
I think
You think.
15.
You think. Let's see. Rivani.
15.
Yeah, 15.
To the bottom.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's at the
underneath
bottom. So 10. All right. So, Tali, you notice that the town has been like the people. It's the middle of the about 8 in the morning. It's early in the morning. You look
The
around.
people should still be about.
Yeah, you don't see people walking. You see doors closed, but you don't see people walking. As a matter of fact, the ones that have movement inside the house, they kind of close the window immediately when you pass through.
Guys, something's wrong.
All right.
When she says that, my instinct is divine sense.
All right. You divine sense this whole area. You sense 3 dots of undead still lingering in the the tavern of Scale. The Bane of the Scale tavern. Sorry, Bane of the Scale. Yeah. So beyond that, you don't sense anything else.
I'm like, I only sense 3 undead, but you know what that could be. You know, just
people are hiding in their homes. Something's up.
Yeah. As you
There's no
guys,
bustle. There's no market. There's no nothing.
Yeah. The place is completely empty. As you guys walk further forward, you heard like loud footsteps coming towards you, and you see right in front of you.
I don't think that sense.
Yeah, appears 2 guards, like, and then more guards behind them, and they're like, "State your business here." Oh wait, it's Kaz. And
I sort of say, hey, there you are. Steve,
oh my God, he's back.
And
Right.
And I sort of like hold up my arms out to Cass and sort of say like, yeah, we got Cass back just as we promised we would.
The guards just look.
So we call.
Yeah, the guards.
So-
Sorry. Whoops.
with a 17,
Mhm.
do I recognize any of the guards as the ones that I scared the shit out of in the market?
No, you don't see the guard. But with the 17, you do notice one thing. First, they all look super tired and exhausted. There are numerous of battle marks on their body. You can see like their armor has claw marks, and their weapons have been fought like they're. As for now, they're still dripping blood. So
You've been busy.
they
I'd
reach
warn you
out.
of the dracolich,
Yeah, they
but
reach
I
out
fear you've already
to
encountered it.
Kaz, and then says, Kaz, thank God you're back. The town was under attack. Where were you? And Kaz was like, well, I was in a bit of a frenzy, to say the least. And these friends, they helped save me. And he points at you guys. The guards look at him and then looks at you guys and then kind of like chuckles. It's like, oh, Cass, you joker. It's like kind of just laughs and like, anyway, we could use more manpower if you guys wanted. You see the cult kind of invaded us. Invaded us for a couple of weeks now. No, a couple of. Oh, sorry. What I've been talking about. Just over the night. Sorry. My memory. Sorry. It's like the guards.
It feels like
sorry.
weeks when you were under siege.
I've been fighting for so long. I couldn't remember the proper time. It feels like ages. But yeah, it was overnight. We tried to fend them off the first wave. Oh, first 2 waves actually. What did you talk about? What's a dracolich?
Bad news if you haven't seen it yet. A dragon, but undead.
The guards' eyes both wide open, as you said, dragon and undead. They're like,
Yeah, basically what she said.
It's bad news. Yeah.
I can fight cultists, but not this.
No.
And they're like, what the? And then as more guards appear right behind them, you see like someone that looks like, with armor donned on him and like the blade by his side. He looks like kind of like a captain of sort, and he just leads his way towards you guys and said to the guards and says, "Quit whining and get back to work. Don't you have more places to patrol? What? So what if they're undead? Undeads can be killed. They are dumber than when they're alive. Now get back to your post." And the guards just like, "Yeah, yes, sir." And they just kind of rush away to the other side, just like, yeah. And so the captain, he walks towards you guys and kind of sighs and says, "I would appreciate." He looks at you, Tali. "I would appreciate if you don't disclose the full details of what we're fighting against.
They deserve to know what they're fighting. They deserve to know if they have a chance.
People are scary enough. We don't want them to go flip out and lost their mind and run all away. That way, without the guards, we don't have enough like power to defend Green East. They can know before the battle starts, but not now. Rumors like this like diminish their.
Rumors like the truth.
Sadly, the truth also diminished their will to fight.
They should be allowed to make that choice for themselves. Forget it.
I'm sorry.
What do you wish of us, God Captain?
We got off the wrong foot. I'm Captain Lumbar, and I'm in charge of the the military around here to defend Green East. Sadly, most of them are AL Leaguers, and AL Leaguers kind of died last night, most of them, in the front line of the battle. We were attacked. We were, strike the least when we expected. They invaded us while we were asleep, and most of the first spot they attack is the League, and most of the Leaguers died within. So I'm left with normal militias, normal like troop soldiers, like the ones you gathered. They were farmers before. They were not prepared for this. They were not prepared for an invasion.
He said that most of the Leaguers are dead, my eyes open up a little bit. I'm like something like light bulb went off in my head. I'm like, that's horrible. Yeah, definitely bad.
9 pats you on the shoulder, and it's like, yes, it's really bad.
Well, nobody else knows that technically we fulfilled her quest, so she owes me money. Nobody else knew we were on that quest. I don't know if I disclosed it to the rest of the party.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, you're the only one
just
who
completed that quest. It
So,
never really came up, but we ended up doing it anyways.
Yeah.
So, meh.
Anyway, you guys can see as the Captain Lombard leads you guys forward. You guys pass through the leaguers, the AL leagues, kind of place, and you notice that. What?
If we're walking by
Mhm.
like this way, I'm gonna like peel off and like poke my head in just to see if the dwarf is, or it was a dwarf, was still there.
Yeah, in the Soul Calibur Smithery.
No, in the League Adventures League. She was the one that.
Oh, she's a halfling. But anyway,
halfling. Sorry.
Yeah, but anyway, you try to look inside. Well, what's left of the house, because the house is now in ruins. You see the roof, not entirely gone, but there's a gigantic hole on top of it, and all the surroundings are like melted. Seems like melted, because you see a liquidized kind of stone just kind of dripples from the wall. It's still dripping right now. And
as I peel off, I'm like, I met somebody in there. She was really nice. I'm just gonna go see if I can be of any aid, and like that's when I veered off.
Okay.
To go see the destruction.
And
I'll be like, hello, and I like try to open the door that like probably falls off or something.
The door is now gone, and Captain Lombard behind you just says, "Just don't bother. They're all dead. At least the one who are still in the house while they invaded us. The rest of the survivors are gathered in the town center. Mostly are gathered, and some of them are in the Evergreen Manor. Yeah. So. Sorry, Evergreen Mansion.
I don't trust the guard.
Yeah.
A 10 probably doesn't help me. I was like, I know there was lots of boxes and stuff.
Oh,
and
inside check. If you don't trust the captain.
No, but like, I knew when I was there that like there could have been an avalanche of like crates or something,
and
she could have been buried.
Roll for investigation if you try to search through the area.
9.
Yeah, you come through some of the liquidized stone, and it feels like aesthetic. You almost burned your palm but you dealt with it carefully enough to avoid taking any damage. But you can sense that the hissing sound is not fun. If it burns through your palm, you probably lose your hand. But anyway, you look around, there's not much left to begin with, because all the crates, everything within are either melted or like molded within, like the stones or anything. Yeah, so they're like just probably something to spray, is like kind of a breath weapon or some sort. Just kind of like melt them all together. Anything would be valuable are probably long gone.
Do I think that this building was targeted?
You don't even need any check to know it's targeted. You see, not only the Adventures League, but also the Smithery. The same pattern. Everything's melted down. And like Tamaria's place as well. Like
so they hit like supply lines and important structures.
It almost feels like they have a precision. I can't pronounce today. Precision strike. Sorry, I can't pronounce.
Someone gave them a map and pointed out crit points.
Yeah. So.
I come outside the lead Adventures League and catch up to the others. I'm like, I think it seems awfully strange, but it seems like they targeted certain buildings. Like, I look around, I don't see a lot of houses that were flattened, but the Adventures League, the blacksmith, places like that of key importance seem to have been surgically destroyed.
Yeah. Captain Lombard just kind of nods and says, yeah, most of the valued structures are destroyed. All but two. Well, the mansion and the magic circle where the dwarves sell their items. Luckily, they provide enough aid to sustain this kind of attack. It's just we couldn't save some of our people. We couldn't save some of the supplies from being destroyed, and we lost most of our soldiers during the battle. So.
And the Adventurers League, I now mention it to the rest. I'm like, yeah, I had a deal with the Adventure League. I never really brought it up with anybody that stuff was going, their convoys were going missing, and they were very concerned about them. You know, the supply lines were getting kind of dried up. So it seems like they were planning this for quite a while. And I looked to the guard, and I'm kind of judging his battle prowess, right? You know, battle of attrition is an easier way to, you know, win over the enemy.
Indeed. Do you roll for insight check?
I can.
Go ahead. Since you're checking him. Go ahead.
17.
Nice. You notice his stance a bit like cleaner than the guards you saw before. His armor, though it's battle worn, but it all looks like it's old battles. It's not recently under attack. You see, like, his swords. He's got a long sword on his belt. He didn't really use them. It almost feels like it's never really used because the handle, the wrappings on the handle, it looks fresh. No sweats soaked in to the handle. No scars.
Did we get his actual name? Did he?
Lumbar. Captain Lumbar.
Lumbar?
Yeah.
I'm like, Captain Lumbar, where were you during the battle? You seem awfully refreshed compared to your troops. I know it's generally good to, you know, be overlooking the battlefield, but if this was truly a horrendous incident, you know, I would expect a little bit more participation.
He turns around and look at you fiercely as you said that.
And I have my hand on my pommel at this point.
You?
As soon as he starts.
You dare question me? When all of you are gone, no one left to pretend to to defend this town? No one left to help our people? They get slaughtered? And you dare challenge me? He draw his sword.
I get up in his face when he does that, and I'm like, we're just travelers passing through. You're the one who gets paid to protect these people. And I'm like totally being cheeky and just straight to his face.
But you are totally being straightforward. Yeah, you guys are not in any line of
I'm angry as well, because I'm like, you're sacrificing townsfolk without even endangering yourself.
Riveni, you notice that with that insight, roll me a perception check to see if you spotted something. Because with that insight, you definitely spotted something.
God damn it.
You think he's not... Like, he's probably hiding something? You think that with his gesture, it doesn't look like someone who's been battling overnight. It looks like someone who's just woken up, refreshed, and go to work. Beyond that,
I
you
sort
don't
of
see
start.
anything else.
I sort of walk up to him a little leery and sort of start saying, like, and sort of ask, like, And you're sure there's nothing more to it than that?
Hell no. He points his longsword directly towards you as you are walking forward. He's like,
No.
Oh,
he's like, I'm the one who gets paid, correct? But you are the one responsible for Kaz missing.
So at this point, he's like pushing shit around his sword and whatnot. I'm gonna use my bonus action and
shove him,
basically grapple him to the ground.
Dice roll time.
I'm like,
let's see. You shove him as he's like, because he's like talking to Rivani, he's not paying attention towards you. You shove him along with his sword to the ground, just like bash him off the way. He just
I'm going to disarm him.
like, yeah, so well, technically Viking does that because his shield not only bash the guard, the captain to the ground, but also knock the weapon off his hand. So you
Then I'll collect
immediately
it.
take the long sword.
Yeah.
As you take the long sword, you notice that there's a small marking underneath the hilt. There's a small marking underneath. You look closer. It looks like an abstract image of a dragon.
So when I knocked him down, I'm like, yeah, nobody draws a sword on me and my companions.
Get
and
off
walks
me!
away gracefully.
Guards!
Nope,
Yeah,
hold him.
And the guards from afar, they kind of rushed forward when they heard their captain yelling for help. So
Easy,
see this-
soldiers. Easy. Your captain is a traitor, and I'm showing the dragon symbol.
yeah,
get off, Captain Lombard! Yeah, so the front guard just like charge in, try to like push you to the side, and weapons ready. You see all of them holding a spear, like just aiming towards you. Kaz immediately rushed forward and says, whoa, guys, you know me, right? My friends and I here. And the guard just cuts him off, saying, shut it, scale, like people, whatever, lizard you are, and just get off, Captain Lombard.
Easy now. Your captain endangered all of you
Kaz kind
without
of
sacrificing himself.
Kaz
And then
kind of-
I'm brandishing the
Oh,
sword.
sorry.
Like, look at this.
Okay, so Kaz kind of leans towards you, Tali, and says, I don't think they are part of the guards. You see, the guards all know me in this place, and I know
Because they're militia, they're townsfolk, they're terrified.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I know all the guards, and they are not part of it.
I flipped the longsword, and now I'm.
When the guards start surrounding us, like I have my foot on the guard captain's like chest, and my eyes, are starting to go all dark and emo. And while I let the others talk, so yeah, I just looking for the paperwork that goes along with that.
Are you?
One of them.
Did you prepare for a speech?
Well, no. One of them I can target who I frighten, and the others I don't.
Yeah, you gain the ability to, like I said, you gain a small boon, and it's not in the official script, but you do gain a small boon because you're like really used to release your dark side. You don't affect your comrades.
Oh, okay. Then I'll do the necrotic shroud one.
Yeah.
The non-Merkel one, my racial.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, I know. The Asmar ability. So you, as you stand on top, 1 foot on top of Captain Lombard, you release the darkness within you, and your eyes turned black. this time, a pair of like skeleton-like wings just pops out from your back. You almost feel the phantom pain as it pops out of your back, and the wings just spread, like the real bonish wing just like kind of wide open. You're like Reaper incarnated. So yeah. You look at the guards. What would you like to say?
I'm going all grandiose at this point. I'm like, cower before me, you piddly mortals.
All right.
Like,
yeah,
because they've probably never seen anything like
all
this.
Right. So you with a low growl, you say to them, "Cower before me, you lowly mortals." And yeah, as all of them kind of gets frightened, and one of them just says, "You're supposed to be and all of them just raise their weapons, but they're stepping back. Their weapons, they're shaking with their spear in their hand, but they're moving backwards. Just release the captain. They're just like shaking really hard. They can't even form a proper sentence, but they are moving a little bit backward.
So when they are like, release the captain, I have my sword in my hand like this, like it's upright, and I turn it down, and I'm like, drop your weapons or I will release him from life. And I'm like getting ready to just like drop the sword through his neck.
So the guards looking down on you and like at Captain, and they were like, you think
do you want me to intimidate or?
Yeah. You roll for intimidation for advantage. Oh, you successfully frightened them to their shit. As all of them not only drops their weapons, but also you think they leak themselves, they wet themselves, so like, and all of them just fall prone onto the ground, and they're like moving away. Don't kill me! And they're just yelling and screaming. Yeah. So all of them are just crawling away from you. And you heard more footsteps coming from afar. And this time, even with a horse. And you notice that one like female figure just riding on a horse directly towards you. And followed behind her are about 24 more guards that looks more well equipped, as well as more battle worn on them. And you notice the lady for Tali. You immediately recognize her because she looks like the same seeker you saw when you were in your vision. Yep. I'm gonna show her face. And la la la. Alright. So, she immediately appeared right in front of you with the gigantic sword in her palm and says, "What is the meaning of this? Miracle's worshipper!"
I'm keeping my sword in front, hands up.
Yeah, like just swords against you guys, and a bunch of like more knights just kind of falls up behind her and is like,
when she says Merkel's worshipper, I do that look around. I'm like, where?
Nice,
like,
just plain dumb, basically.
Technically, like, unless she knows who I am, like, my symbol is a pocket watch, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit hidden, generally.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but remember, you presented yourself with the narcotic shroud.
Yeah, but that's an Azamar ability. That's not, anybody can do that.
Anybody.
No, honestly, any
Yeah.
one of the
Any
flavors
any
of
Asmar
Asmar
could
can
do
do
it,
it.
like-
Right?
Yeah.
Any Asmar could do that. But
But mine is, Merkle flavored.
no, to their eyes, they
Right.
never really saw any Asmar before. You would think
Yeah.
that because bony and everything, and like the ghostly figure of the wings, it's easily mistaken, to say the least. So, the lady in the front who's riding on a horse just says, "Drop your weapons and get off of Captain Lumbar."
Seeker Maria, please. I wouldn't.
Who are you and how do you know? And like, she looks around the guards and just like, she's not talking, but you can feel her telepathic connection as she tried
Oof.
to dig into your memories. Would you like roll me a wisdom check?
Yeah. Oh, gee whiz.
Actually, wisdom save, because you're trying to fight off this telepathic connection. All right,
God damn it.
you shrug, and with all of your might, you push back her compulsion that's digging in, and she just
Please. I have no desire to lie to you, but I'd also really like my own thoughts to be mine.
I'll try and
yeah.
I'll try to respond to Maria saying the guard captain's sword's got like a dragon symbol on it. I don't.
Dragon symbol. She looks at you intensely.
I'm just like, don't draw, and I pull the sword out, and then I pass it hilt forward to her.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I still have my sword facing down at this
definitely.
guy's neck.
And the wings are still appeared right behind your back. All right. So Maria nod to one of the guards, and the guard just grabs the sword from you, and he examined it where you said there are the symbols, and then nods to Maria, and Maria just like, "Bring this traitor away, out of my sight." And she just like the guards. One of the guards just move forward, but you are still unleashing your necrotic shroud, right?
Oh yeah, he's trying to come toward, and I growl at him. I'm like nobody comes. This is my chew toy. This is no.
When you say chew
Like a dog
toy, everyone
protecting
just looks.
No, like a dog protecting a toy or a
okay.
bone. No,
I thought
this is
you
mine.
said this is my chew toy. It's like, okay.
No, it's the guard. Just like
That would be weird. Anyway, you just growl at them, and the guard just take a step back. Immediately, you see the front guard just draw two of his short sword and directly aim at you. It's like,
easy. It's all right. Please, we can help bring him in.
tell that
and
whatever
I'm
that is.
Like, choose your words very carefully. My hands are getting a little bit crampy, and I'm like almost dropped. Oh.
And as you almost drop, all of them draw weapons, immediately points at you, and Maria just like,
I'm like, oh god, please no.
I'm gonna turn to Vikings and just start calling them like, come on, Viking, you can. He knows about. He knows. She knows about it now. You can get out of him now. That's enough.
okay.
And I look back. I'm like, there's no guarantee we're getting out of this. He's our only bargaining chip to, like I'm like he's our only bargaining chip to survive this at this point.
Normally,
and I like pipe up. I'm like, and what's in it for us if we give you this coward?
no, I don't
what makes
kill
you
on sight.
not murder us?
I don't kill you on sight. How about
I
that?
laugh. I'm like, I don't see any assurances. You should send some of your lackeys to go catch the other half a dozen that was following this, and I kick him in the side. Coward.
She narrows her eyes and then like sends out a few of the guards, and you notice her like just do this a hand gesture and waves for them to catch the rest of the guards that was running away from you, Viking. And she
And like that's a sign of good faith in my mind, as I'm like, okay, and I'm like, somebody get some rope and we'll tie him up before I let him up, kind of
there's
thing.
no need. And she raised her sword directly at the Captain Lombard. You see all of the ropes just immediately appeared on the tip of her sword, and just like a snake flying in the sky, just like, and tied the captain right, like everything up. It's like it just like tied him real tight, and there's no chance of escaping. And she just like, now.
I take my foot off his chest, but I intentionally make sure that like I go straight into mud right beside his like face, and it like splashes him a little bit.
Yeah,
and I'm like, and then I pick him up.
You pay for this. You will all pay for this. And just like, ugh. And you notice that Maria just like zip it, and the rope just ties around its like mouth. It's like, yeah, just like he can't really speak right now. And she just says, just bring this traitor away. And she walks towards you, all of you, weapons sheathed, and it's like, normally I wouldn't trust someone who worshipped Merkel, especially what they've caused so much trouble in my town. But if Kaz is with you, and he nods at Kaz, and if Vendenar can vouch for you, then I'm okay with that. But just to keep in mind, if you try anything, I mean anything, in this town, and she just walks towards Vendenar and Kaz, just like leave the sentence half finished.
I'm giggling. I'm thinking like, I giggle slightly. I'm like, hope she meant anything else, because
Maria
Sure.
just greets Vendenar in person, and Vendenar is like, you've been keeping this from me. I never would have expected. Maria just bows to in front of Vendenar and says, I'm sorry, but a girl's gotta keep her secrets, and well, I'm not Whitehall anymore. I'm not a Whitehall anymore. Anyway, we can finish our conversation once we're inside. In the meantime, the guards still need to patrol this whole area, and we need to set up our defenses. Meet me at the Evergreen Mansion, and we can talk about this later. And she just like rides back up to the horse, walks back to the horse, and rides it on its back, and just like lead the guards towards patrol again. Yeah, and Vendenar just looks at all of you and says, "Huh, that's quite interesting. Never would I ever expected that Maria Evergreen is actually Maria Whitehall."
I'm just sort of standing there, I'm just sort of like thinking out loud, like, huh, oh, that was a cool story she used.
I don't like her, and I say just even when she might be in earshot, I'm like, I don't like her.
Yeah, either she didn't hear you or she just doesn't care. Yeah, so you guys are like the guards. They are off, and most of them are like in search for the traders that follows Captain Lumbar. And so, what would you like to do? What would all of you like to do?
I'm gonna keep an eye out for where the undead was coming from, like the 3 undead I sensed.
Mm-hmm.
And like, if we get close to one of them, I'm gonna kind of peel off and go look for my entourage.
Mm-hmm.
So,
all right.
yeah.
So, you guys walk towards the tavern, basically, because that's where you sense they are. And as you guys reach closer towards the tavern, you notice that the second floor, the roof is already repaired. It's a rough handiwork. Some of the nails are still exposed, and some of the plates is not fully covering the roof. But it's a makeshift repairment, so it looks okay. And then on the second floor, you see the windows immediately closed as you guys walk towards it, and you heard fumbling sound, something kind of like running downstairs or something kind of like rolling downstairs, and you heard constantly ding 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 ding, like, oh, my head, stop it, and just like stop, and just like chasing down the stairs. Yeah, and as
I'm gonna stand guard out here.
Yeah.
You go in.
As you guys walk in, you notice that is the skeleton you guys met before is currently chasing its head over the floor. It's like, you just stop it, stop moving, and just like trying to like anchor the head, and eventually it rolls towards you. Hey, would you be so kind to stop it for me?
I want to pick up the head.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Jesus, man, I just found you the perfect soulmate, and you need to get yourself together.
Perfect
and
soulmate?
I toss it to him.
Ooh, is it that elf lady right outside? I can sense her presence. Oh, are you finally gonna matchmake us? I will be forever in your debt. And he just,
I'm sure my companion is ugly compared to this wonderful young lady that I found. She even has her own manner. Like, she is wealthy, she's powerful, she is right up your alley. You need to meet her, and best of all, she lives here in Greenest. Or Greenest.
What's this lovely lady's name?
So, like, you can spend eternity with her, and I'm and it's funny because you guys only hear the one side of the conversation.
Yeah, totally, one side. And for Viking, you heard the skeleton just continue saying, "Oh yeah, who's this lady? What's her name? I want details. How's she but us look like? Come on, I need specs." Yeah, just like.
Yeah. I'm like, you can get me a beer or some ale, and we'll have a long chat over it.
Sure thing. But before all that, can I get my head back? Because, I kind
of I tossed it to him.
Around. Yeah.
When I told him he needs to get himself together, I tossed it to him.
He juggles a little bit and then eventually just toss it onto his skeleton. It's like, all right. Let's see. What do we have here? We got the normal ale. We got piss-like ale. We got strong ale. We got apple ale. We got all the stuff. And then Kaz just walks in and is like, all right. Can somebody explain why my cabins are destroyed? Somebody
That
care
was all
to
I knew.
explain why my
That was all on
storage
you.
are all gone or destroyed. And you guys walk in, you see him break down because all of the shelves behind the bar are all like either misplaced. Even for you, you can see that because before you enter, all the stuff are placed in the order of heights. So there's a clean order, and everything are in place. There are name tags and everything. But right now, everything's misplaced. You see like the tall in the middle, maybe two shorts on the left side, two talls on the right side, and it's like just mixed and mashed. And besides that, the shelves behind it are still broken, like the way you left. Maybe some poorly skilled hammer guy kind of like just rushly hammered a shelf or something, but it looks ugly and unstable, and it looks like it's gonna fall anytime anyone's getting close to it.
I'm like, I'm sorry. First off, let's backtrack. These are my entourage, and I'm like,
Your
Yeah.
entourage? Kaz is
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know how much those ales cost me?
Probably far less than you're repairing your roof that you obliterated and probably destroyed half your stock.
Not.
I interject
Actually,
with like, it's kind of sort of a really, really long story.
yeah. I would like someone to repay the damage they've done. You know how much they cost me? They cost me 20,000 gold for all of the ale.
All I'm saying is if
besides, that's if no one touches my top shelf stuff.
That's all on you. If you didn't go all evil-eyed and burst through your ceiling, then you wouldn't have had a gaping hole that anybody could have just entered your tavern. You're lucky you have anything. These guys were here. They fixed your roof. They were keeping people away to make sure that it wasn't. Look at them. Do they drink? They have no stomachs.
Yeah,
and I'm totally
just
just
respond to you and says, "Oh no, we never really keep anyone away. In fact, I kind of practically welcome them inside. You know, the ladies and everything. But every time they just run off and scared. So you know, and yeah, I did what you asked. I never really take one step away from the tavern. I just stand by the porch and just like, you know, wave them in. I assume that being a gracious, like, you know, guest, we should know how to, like, you know, invite someone in to rise the business, you know, a little bit, because when the bartender is gone, no one takes care of the tavern. And
I look at him like, well, what'd you do with all the liquor?
What? Sorry, what did you do?
I'm like, what'd you do with all the liquor? All the booze?
Oh, no. I never really did anything to them. I just came in and they're just like this. I think it's most of it is because when you guys left, someone broke into the cabin and kind of breaks all the stuff. And it's definitely not my fault, nor is my companion. So, you know.
I look over at him and I'm like, yeah, they're telling me when they were repairing the roof, the jostling up top caused the shelf to collapse, and that's how everything got broke. I'm just like,
oh.
Do you want me to like deception check on that?
Go ahead. Kaz is gonna make his counter by checking if you're telling the truth. Let's see. Kaz. Alright. Kaz. Oh, actually, this is Kaz. Let me see. Nope. Where is his? Let me check. Kaz. Alright, I somehow can't find him. That's weird. Oh, it's here.
What is he again?
Oh, yeah.
He's a fighter
he's
or
a
monk? Yeah, likely he doesn't. I'm guessing he would just have a 0 for wisdom, right? I don't. No, I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't
0
think
for
monks are
wisdom.
high. I don't. They're not like a cleric, right?
Well, their
As in,
secondary.
I mean, a +0.
No, their secondary are wisdom, mostly.
Is it?
Yeah.
I
They
thought it
need
was
wisdom.
Dex.
No, they need wisdom for AC and for
Oh, okay.
inside
I never played
melee.
monk.
But anyway, either he's proficient, either he's wise or not. He's too much in a saddened mood to notice that you've been lying to him. So yeah, he's like, how am I gonna repay all this? Repair all this? If I ever catch this thief, I'm gonna choke his life out of him.
Well, technically, because I deceived him, he doesn't think it's a thief. He thinks it was an accident when they were repairing the roof.
Yeah. Like, oh right, yeah. So, sorry, I'm mistaken. He looks at A and is like, it's like as if he's gonna bite down on A's skeletal head. Like, fine.
When I see that, I'm like, you know what? I'll let you know of a little secret, but it has to stay between you and me. And when I see him anger at A, I'm like, this guy and his companion or my entourage have this lovely ability that if you destroy them, they just reform. And I reach over and I want to just crush his skull into powder or something like that.
Yeah.
And just destroy him. And
all right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been telling the wrong name this whole time. H. Sorry. H is the man.
Yeah, it's HJ and
yeah, HA and the nameless one. You called him Jeff.
So Jeff, yes.
Yeah. So you crush H's skull with your palm, and in front of your eyes you see the skeletal head just kind of reform on the body, just kind of grows back, and H is like, I'm kind of getting tired of you smashing my skulls like this.
And I look to him and I'm like, just play along. And everybody can hear me just say, play along.
Yeah. Kaz is didn't say a word. He just walked right past through both of you, and he either shoulder bump you when he's walking inside, and he's making stuff in the right order, and he just picking up stuff, just kind of overall repairing the damage that's been done. Yep. In the meantime, Vendenar and the prince, they all walk in and sits down. The prince looks disgusted by all the damage and everything. He's like, is that all your peasants linger in this kind of place? Huh. I guess that normal people does have no taste. Anyway, he just sits down and just talks and just Anyway, I wouldn't expect much from all of you.
I'm gonna sort of follow Kaz to see if he needs help. Help with putting his band together.
Okay. As you guys are helping each other out, you notice that some of the items there, they are further claw marks. Especially you, Riveni, because last time you were checking the wines and the backs. The claw mark seems to be, maybe your memory is vague, but the claw mark seems to be appeared more than usual. Last time you only see one, maybe, but this time there are a dozen, just randomly on every shelf and anything. Kind of peculiar. Yeah.
I also say call me crazy, but I didn't remember all these other colors being here the last time I looked around here.
As you finish saying that, you notice that a small, kind of, cat-like creature just leaps towards you, Rivani.
Oh,
Yeah, and the claws is aiming for your face. What's your AC? 12, right? It's fine.
yeah.
The claw just misses you by an inch, but it definitely cuts off part of your hair, and the dark creature just like leaps from place to place, jumping in and out. And as it leaps towards you, Tali, you notice that it looks eerily familiar.
I'm outside.
Yeah. So like as it's running past through you, you notice
Okay.
that it's eerily familiar.
Okay, Cora.
Uh,
I'm assuming.
but it's not Korra actually. It is something from your past. Someone.
I am chasing it inside.
Yeah. So you chase it out. It's running outwards. It's actually running outwards. You chase it down all the way down to one of the house right across here. So like running all the way to here. To the old abandoned house you guys found before.
Oh boy.
And to your surprise, since you're the only one chasing out, no one really cares about it. So you're the only one who saw your friend. One of your family members that was with you this whole time. You saw how to pronounce the name again? Sorry. Athelia? Sorry. I don't know. Alethea?
Yeah, Althea.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Alethea.
Mhm.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
saw Alethea right in front of your eyes.
I just kind of like freeze for a second, and it's like, Allie, oh my god, and just like crash straight into her.
Okay, so you
I
crash into her. She hugs you back, but she also has this weary look on her face. And mind if you describe Alethea for me?
Okay, so Allie is like she's also a wood elf, but she's got like slightly lighter complexion than me. We look remarkably similar, even though we're not related. So like the same kind of dark hair, but she's a bit less severe. She's a lot softer. I don't yeah.
All right. You two look like, yeah. Yeah.
We look like twins, and
Yeah,
are
you look
referred
like
to as
twins,
twins, even though
yeah.
we're not like related, just because that's
As far as Vakine's concerned, all wood elves look alike.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, none of you chased out with her? I wouldn't say anyone saw that.
Nope.
But Tali, yeah.
Right.
Did you? Yeah. So the cat-looking creature just ran out of the door. So while Rivani is yelling, "Did anyone see that?" The prince is not doing anything. The wizard lifted one of his eyebrow, but also not doing anything. While Tali chased out the cat all the way to Alethea, and you guys just stares at each other for a moment, and then Alethea is just gonna say, "So, Tal,
Are you all right? Why are you here?
I'm here because of you, actually. All of us, we kind of took this contract, and we end up in Green East, and that's when we found that you are also here, and you somehow joined these Antarians. Care to explain that?
I got in a bit of a bind. I was far away, no money, no nothing, and I mean, but like, I'm so sure I've been burned by them. I don't. How do you know?
And behind her walks out a short, like, female figure, like half of her, Alithia's size. And then you saw Lavanya right in front of you. Your adopted mother and teacher just staring right in your face. Care to describe her as well?
Okay, yeah. Elle is like, she's so halfling, a little bit kind of grizzled. She's got a few scars from her early days as a rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Blonde hair, very kind of sharp features, pointy, stern, but not unkind.
To you maybe, but to the others she looks like a sharp figure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And right now you can sense her, like, sharpness is pointing directly at you. Like, not the actual weapon, but still. You feel this kind of judgmental look.
Yeah, I dropped my knees by my head. I'm so sorry for the trouble I've caused. I'm glad to see you're alive.
You have any idea what you've done?
I mean, evidently from the way you're talking, no.
I think it's time to let you know the truth. So, you might have heard I was part of the Zentarians. You might have heard that your mom was also a part of the Zentarians. Sadly, I have to say they are all true. The thing is...
Why not tell me earlier? That is... I told you where I was going, why I was leaving, why I was looking. You knew I was looking in the wrong places, yet you didn't stop me.
That is because I never wanted you to find out. I would rather you go on a wild goose chase than find out the truth. You see, your mother and I were not proud of what we've done. At that time, she's called the mastermind of the Zentarium. She's done a lot of things she can't control, and I, as her servant, it's painful to watch her do that. So we decided to forever leave this place. And that is when we find your father. Well, she finds your father. She fell in love immediately. And he swore to her there's a better place than this. So they decided to escape. Unfortunately, they never really made it. When we found you, she kind of chokes on this part. Like, she can't really continue on speaking. But eventually, she finds her strength to continue.
I go over and I take one of her hands. It's all right.
Yeah. And she continues saying, like, she's trying really hard to hold her emotion inside. And she says, they were torn to pieces by a wizard. The wizard who's been controlling this whole time, the whole organization, and everything. Luckily,
you know who he is.
Luckily, in our search, we sort of find a name. A name that's only in initials and whispers, but we never really... It's an initial of A-N.
A-N.
Yes. And we never know the full name. We never know anything else besides he's a really powerful wizard. We don't know what quarrel your mother and him involved in, but he's the one that burned down your house that night. He's the one that took your family away from you. We found your father's old comrade in this faraway city called Lux.
I've heard of it. What is it?
You've heard of it. I never expect anyone from this realm would heard of it.
Someone gave the information to me as a bargaining chip. I didn't hold it. I didn't think it was real.
It is very much to the bones. And the connection is more than you can imagine. To you, either to you, to your mother, to your father. Your lineage is way beyond just normal farmer.
I'm beginning to get that.
Your father, Gallo, is part of the royal garrison. He's the leader and a beloved son from the royal family.
He really is. He's royalty.
Yes. He's a ranger by trade, but a royalty by blood.
How? He's not royalty.
She looks
He's a
at
farmer,
you.
gentleman.
Yeah, she looks at you sympathetically, so like if someone would know your pain, that's probably the person who raised you. Yeah. In fact, the Stormcloaks are formed to serve a sole purpose, to train you and to protect you.
I'm assuming everyone's kind of filtering out at this point. I'm just looking at them all.
Alethea look at you, and she says, "That is why, cousin." And she looks at you and says, "That is why I was sent. Your father and my father, they were twins, and they were once really close. And until your father abandoned his post to enter this realm for your mother. And then he's never heard of again until his death reaches our family. In our grief, my father sent me out to reach you, to help Lavinia make sure you're trained, make sure you're..."
What for? Why? And not that I'm not grateful. All of you have given up so much just for me, but you didn't have to. These.
Lavinia just sits down by the stone and just sighs and just like, "Because of our oversight, your mother and your father was killed. We couldn't get to them in time, and that will be a debt I forever owed."
No, that is no fault of yours. That is purely on the man that killed them.
But I'm supposed
You
to
need
be
not
her
sacrifice
servant.
something.
I'm supposed to be there. When your mother and your father, they decided to leave, they decided to rest in a place that's seemingly out of danger. I beg of them to be watchful, but they said if they're have presented themselves as farmers and like simple, gentle like people, no one would no one would expect them to be there. No one would suspect a thing. And I let her. That is my sin.
It was what they wanted.
But I should have known
Even
better. I should have.
we must have made a mistake along the way somewhere. We must have. I don't know how someone knew, but they did. But that is not on you. That is not your fault. You listened to your friend. You respected her wishes.
She nods and kind of sighs. And Alithia just continues saying, now that you know your heritage, the Raven family would like you to return among us. You do know the pendants, it's our family crest, right?
I always thought it held more significance than Dalaton, but you people are my family. I don't know anyone else. Cousin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're my cousin.
Yeah. She also smiles a little bit and like kind of hugs you. And yeah. After the hug, she continues saying, but now we're facing a bigger problem. The reason why Lavania and I are here waiting for you is because the portal is about to shut down, which means we never get to return to where you are supposed to be. That is why I beg of you to come with me.
Of course, in a heartbeat.
Not the home, not the so-called home we have right here. But
no, but this is where your family hails from, where you've left. Of course I'm with you. I wanted you to leave here anyway. There's a dracolich on the loose if you hadn't noticed. I was so worried about you.
That's the worst part. The dracolich is getting a hold of our portal, which means if we don't get past him, there's no way of us getting back. Not ever. Because
we're getting back.
Because if he punctured the hole between the space, the link between our realm, between this realm and our realm, will be forever lost. Which means we will never, ever return home again.
You are my home. Wherever you are, that is it. And if you want to go home, then of course. We're going. We'll get there. I don't care how. I don't care what it costs. We're going.
I'm glad to hear that. But right now, I think it's time we meet your traveling companion now. We need as many force as we can gather to take on.
I'm so glad to have you back. Oh, they're good people. Please, first impressions are not our forte, but they've saved my life over again. I take it you guys now have that in common.
Lavania just like nods and says, I trust your judgment, kid.
Oh, I don't know about that. Mm-hmm. Come on.
All right.
I think you're a little critical on first impressions with Ravani. Like, really, she's not that bad.
Right. Yeah, Ravani. Yeah, right. Anyway, that's where we'll end our session today. Sorry, I have to end the session earlier because a few stuff came up. But yeah, great session.
That's okay. That was brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks. Awesome session, guys. No one provokes a fight. So that's great one. And,
We tried.
Tried.
yeah.
Tried.
We tried really hard. So for talking through Vendenar convincing the prince to stay, you each get 1,000 experience.
No.
For
Okay.
and for Tali, you get extra 1,000 because
Oh.
you met your family, convinced them to come with you. Yeah.
I don't
Just
get anything
personal-
for getting a fucking airship. Come on.
Yeah, you will get your
I'm
fair share.
convinced for an airship.
I know.
Sorry.
No. Just like that because every character has their own story arc,
Yeah.
so they will get something extra when they complete their story arc. Well, at least making progress of their story arc.
I realized today we need. Do you know Thieves Can't?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to be teaching me that, or teaching my character that. Because, like in the negotiations for the airship, I could have been like,
You killed it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, we need a shorthand that we have. Yeah.
Nice.
Down. I'll do it.
I was totally playing it low key.
Mhm.
You know, just give me an airship.
Yeah, just
Just
had.
convince me to give you an airship, and voila, you get an airship. Nice.
What they didn't know, I've always wanted a folding boat. I would have
a
been happy with a
foldable.
folding.
A foldable.
Yeah,
Yeah. Have you seen
we're like
Harmon's Quest?
landlocked.
Have you?
No.
You guys should watch it. It's like amazing. But anyway, in the story they call it foldable. It's pretty cool.
Foldable.
Yeah, a foldable. Anyway,
Yeah,
so just a quick asking. So, any one of you having any things to do next week? Because I remember someone told me.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I'm gonna be okay because I have an interview at like 9 o'clock on Friday, so it's a 10-hour drive home.
Mhm.
So I'm sure like I'll probably end up driving a little bit on Saturday,
Mhm.
but I'll be able to make it home fairly like before any time before
Okay.
session. So
Okay. So,
otherwise I'll post on Discord if I'm not gonna make it.
yeah. So just keep us posted.
Yeah.
And if you're too tired, just remember it's okay if you're
Yeah.
too tired to do anything.
It's pretty easy because, like, basically from Grand Prairie to Edmonton, there's 4 hours,
Mhm.
another 3 to Calgary, and then 3 to here.
Mhm.
So if I get tired or if it gets too late, I'll just pull over somewhere and
Just sleep.
crash for the night.
Okay.
Like, I'll get a hotel somewhere.
Mhm.
So,
Mm.
yeah, it shouldn't be too bad.
All right. Cool. Nice. Then that means I have more time to prepare. Actually, next week, I'm off on Friday because we have Chinese people. They have this annual feast where people just go gather and eat and drink and do whatever, listen to boss
Nice.
conversation. Yeah. So luckily, I have Friday off, and so that means I got more time to prepare for
Oh, good.
possibly an epic battle in the future.
Oh
Possibly.
no.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah,
great session.
I don't foresee myself having anything going on Saturday to prevent me from coming.
Nice. That would be awesome.
I think to celebrate Chinese New Year, we need to get something, was it dog themed?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
year.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Get
I'm okay with
something
that.
dog themed. All right. I'll
Yeah.
take that into consideration. So yeah, maybe it's a dog. Maybe it's a dog.
well, and I think we should also get something for Australia Day, so something poisonous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
A viper. A viper would be nice. Maybe. A
Yeah,
viper.
just a casual.
It's like a tissue, and it's just a poisonous rag. It's like,
Yep. Just
Australia.
random objects.
Well,
Oh yeah.
In fact, because spiders and snakes are, well, one is similar to dragon, one is actually a drowse, saint stuff. So yeah, maybe we'll take that into consideration. Maybe
a poisonous dog is what we get.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways.
I'm gonna stop here. So yeah.